Well, hello, hola, Ohio, ni hao, guten tag, and ciao. One more time, welcome into the Lane County Ice Center. Oregon hosting Washington State for the second night in a row. Last night, the Ducks opened up the season with a little bit closer of a win than perhaps we expected. A 4-3 win over the Washington State Cougars, and just a couple of moments ago on the other side of the Willamette River, Washington State football took down Oregon. The Ducks hoping for a different result tonight. Colin Catman, what do they have to do to get win number 2 over Washington State?
Well, Washington State's pretty confident. They came in last night with a history of getting blown out by the Ducks. They kept it close. Ducks need to respond just with the energy that they had in the first period and the start of the second period. If they keep that same energy up, if they put the pressure on this goalie, they should be able to get win number 2 tonight.
Yeah, and we'll see who starts in goal. You mentioned the goaltending position for Oregon. We saw Jackson Howry make his debut last night. Ben Green is dressed tonight. He's the Ducks' other goaltender, and he's down there doing his stretches in front of the goal right now. So we're just like you. We don't get to see who starts until they start. We don't get the score sheet up here. So it may still be Howry again. It may be a second night in a row, a debut goaltending effort from Ben Green. We'll certainly keep you updated there. Oregon looks to have most everybody available. Don't think they lost anyone last night, at least that we were aware of. And again, that 4-3 game turned on kind of a fluky goal, or not even kind of a fluky goal. It just was kind of cleared from Oregon's own zone and just ended up trickling past Ryan Burford, who really skated right by the puck. So I think Oregon knows that they got the win yesterday, and you don't want to be too critical of a season opening win, but I think they know they've got to play a lot better tonight. Definitely.
Jackson Howry had played a great game yesterday. Coach Leahy said as much. You know, you could have said it went on both sides because Washington State had that weird goal, or we had the screenshot where it was a high stick. So it was an interesting game yesterday. That's hockey. That stuff happens.
Yeah, it does indeed. And, I talked with Chris Campbell about that game, he tells me that he's going to be wearing the C this year, and I'll believe it when I see it. Chris does have a tendency to talk a little bit, but he is one of the veteran guys on this team. He's a very respected dude in the locker room, and he said he thinks he actually knocked that goal past Jackson Howry. He's not sure that it was even a Washington State stick that knocked it in. He said his stick was definitely high, but that's his theory on why that goal counted. So if the Ducks can not do that, maybe a little bit closer, a little bit less close game tonight, and they have that actual game experience now, that much more of Leahy's system implemented. So you expecting to see anything significantly different tonight?
It might be a little bit cleaner. They had a game yesterday to figure it out with game action. I expect it to be a lot cleaner than it was yesterday, and that's not saying yesterday's play was all that sloppy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got 6:25 left before this game starts, so we're going to get everything in order, and we will be back with you very shortly for game number 2 of the season. Keep it right here on YouTube. Isaac Rosenthal with Colin Catman.
That's
Never use that recording again.
That's Howery, and that's not Ben, is it? Dylan over there? That's not what Ben looked like.
Is he wearing a different jersey?
That's Howery, yeah.
So Howery's just wearing number 1?
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, we are set for puck drop. 20 minutes on the clock, first period. No score, you knew that part. Oregon, Washington State starting game number 2, and there is the opening faceoff. Goes right into the Washington State zone. Cody Dries, Sam Rosenberg give chase to that. Interesting, we talked last night, the energy line from the Ducks unit, Pat Taylor, Sam Rosenberg, and Cody Dries, they get the start together tonight, trying to create that kind of spark plug for Oregon.
Yeah, Coach Leahy definitely saw that. It was pretty obvious with these guys. They were just making magic the whole night.
And it's Rosenberg giving chase to the puck here after Oregon was able to move forward. Now Dries will get it behind the net, knocks it back for Rosenberg. Rosenberg tried to center it for Campbell, but not on the same page, and Washington State takes a bit of puck possession here. Cougars just gain the zone and clear it in. They'll get a line change, as does Oregon. We mentioned we thought it might be Ben Green starting tonight. It actually is Jackson Howery just wearing Ben Green's number 1 jersey. So no change in goal tonight. Although we'll see if Washington State changes goalies in the last minute again. That was certainly bizarre for a team losing a game by 1 goal. Shot comes through from distance and forced to save out of Burford. Puck back behind the net. Oregon trying to get to it there. It's Campbell. Campbell told us after the game last night he's going to be wearing the C for Oregon this year along with his assistant Cody Dries. Shabara with the shot. Went on through. Shabara took a spill. No call on anything. 18:30 left. And Oregon again with early pressure. The puck squirts just past Harrison Landers and Joe Hoover has to go back to get it.
Good pressure shown by the Ducks here. Way to start the game. They needed to set the tone early, and that's what they've done so far.
And there's Trevor Schott went into the corner to try and get to that, but Washington State got there first. Tapped by Jake Yale to keep it in the zone. And Zach Foss knocks it behind the net for Schott back, centering, trying to get it to Foss again. Foss did have a goal last night. Starting season number 2 with the Ducks, a mid-season acquisition last year was Zach. And we're behind the goal again. Oregon setting up in its own zone. But Washington State with it. There's Sonnichsen. Sonnichsen, all of the offense for Washington State yesterday. Tried to flip it for Efrenson, the big number 22, emphasis on big.
Oh, definitely. X factor on defense, too, because of the stick length. Washington State's lucky to have him out there.
So 17-29, yeah, no fireworks to speak of here. Oregon looking to make it 2 straight against Washington State this season with the first 2 games of the I-5 Cup looming large next week. We'll talk about that several times throughout the game. It'll be the I-5 introduction, or I-5 Cup introduction. There's a shot. Rebound opportunity. There was some contact with the post there. Oregon having to play a little bit of desperation defense all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, who else is it out there? It's number 12, Zach Sonnichsen. He's really the heartbeat of this Washington State offense.
And they tried to find J.D. Dunn there, but the pass was deflected. Ends up going all the way back the length of the ice, but Oregon couldn't do anything in Washington State with it again. Sonnichsen trying to center. Puck was loose in front for Dunn. That was very dangerous. And Sam Rosenberg has a how do you do for Mr. Dunn. Flipped in, deflected low, and Sonnichsen was there, but so was Taron Donnelly. There again is somebody wearing number 28, not on their roster. And Pat Taylor thought about chasing that. Instead, he'll go back to the bench. Oregon gets a line change with 16:21 left. And we've been over this many, many times. If you break the equipment, you buy it, boys. We do not have spares. 16:19 left.
I was all over that.
Gonna dive to protect the equipment. Neutral zone face-off. Nick Shabara digs in to take it. Wins it back to his defense. Harrison Landers slides it for Joe Huber. It's a different pairing than we saw Joe with yesterday. He spent most of his time with Darren Toller. One-timer from Landers, deflected, nearly deflected in by a Washington State stick. And the Cougars now will try and move up ice. No shot, no goals, no penalties so far. And approaching the 4.5-minute mark played in this first period, and another line change. And, well, there comes a penalty. Couldn't have been any sooner after I said there were no penalties. Do we have another roughing?
Looks like an elbow.
Elbowing indeed called against Mystery 18, or just
that's 8.
Yeah, that's 8, a red 8 and a piece of black tape. So it's either Daniel Litchfield or somebody else wearing number 18. Again, not on their roster. This is the life of an ACHA commentator. Oregon looked very good on the power play yesterday, and they set up with an early advantage. The penalty clock isn't running, so when they realize that, I think they'll call the referees over and we may reset the time. A solid 15 seconds there.
Just got one job down there.
Shot with it. Shot to Foss. Back to Luke. Thrown forward in Washington State. Trying to go short-handed, and the call of offside made by the Oregon bench there, but it was the right one, and the linesman agreed.
Jefferson a little late on that pass, or else he would have had Sonicson wide open for a breakaway.
And the referee now is going to approach the scorer's table.
Probably going to take 10-15 seconds off.
There was at least 15 seconds that ought to come off, and I may be the only person in the building that knows how to do that.
I did some scorekeeping over the summer.
Ran the board here for many years and had to give training to the folks down there yesterday. Made it very clear to enter the penalty timer, and 4 seconds is, they just put another penalty up there with 1:35. I think that
we might need to call to the bullpen here, Isaac.
That's generous for Oregon, because there seemed to be significantly more than 4 seconds that tricked off.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the Washington State coach is saying exactly that right now.
I would be saying the same thing. I mean, you can't baby a scorekeeper like that. They have to know to start. That's it. It's just that simple. They have one job.
Well, and the thing is, if we're talking about missing 1 second, that's not going to make a tremendous difference. It takes a fair amount of time to get out of the box, but
good chunk of time was taken.
7-8 seconds additional that we're not going to make up for. That's a significant extension for Oregon's power play. That's one more zone entry. So Washington State, understandably upset, maybe not demonstratively upset, because you don't want to get on a referee's bad side this early in a game, but they have right to complain.
Well, Washington State's coach knows that Oregon went perfect on their power play yesterday. To give them extra time, he definitely doesn't want to have.
And there's a rebound, and Chris Campbell put that one over the top of the goal, but could have been 1-0. Donnelly, back Jesse Leonard there. Leonard gets it to the point, and back to Leonard at the face-off circle. Leonard moves to the man behind the net. They go back to the point. Point-to-point pass there. Shot comes through, deflected. Good save by Burford with 30 seconds left on the penalty clock. Chris Campbell got it across the blue line, but Oregon will have to change. Jesse Leonard, I think, was trying to get to the point man there, but there wasn't a point man on the right side of the blue line yet. Not as strong of a power play look from Oregon so far. And 4 seconds left on it. And it's just, nothing is going right on that penalty for Washington State. Guy hit himself with a stick coming out of the box. So
maybe Earl had something to do with it, though.
Earl is a
home field advantage.
Home ice indeed. Big check thrown there by Efrenson on the new number 11 for the Oregon Ducks. 11 did not make it onto my Duck roster.
I believe that's Seth Starr.
Seth Starr wearing both 11 and 66 this year, apparently.
Yeah.
That number 11's been worn by some great Ducks in the past. Eric Brody wore that number. Brody, one of my favorite Ducks in the long bygone era. Matthew Ackman also wore that number for the Ducks, and that shot hard into the side of the net by Pat Taylor. Was it Garrett Roberts wore that number? Garrett Roberts famous for putting a Husky through the glass.
That should have been checking from behind right there.
That could have been a lot of things. Instead, it's just a bit of a circus music play.
Yeah.
And that one ripped around the boards. 12:24 left, no score first period. Oregon missed their one power play opportunity they've kept out of the box themselves so far. Looks like a more even game than the first period did last night, but we looked pretty even really throughout the last 40 minutes of the game yesterday. So that's not too much of a surprise. Trevor's shot, true to his name, fires it on goal. 12:02 left. Make any adjustments yet?
It's been a pretty even game so far. Ducks haven't really come out with that same energy that we saw yesterday, but it looks kind of sluggish on both sides, to be honest.
Oh, there is Darren Toller at the point, had an opportunity, got it on forward, and that puck loose in front, and a lot of cage to shoot at. Puck still taking some weird bounces tonight. Michael Luke went for the big check there, but it leads to a Washington State break. They go for JD, or 2-on-1. They had JD done as a passing option. Instead, the shot from Aaron Patel rang off the post. Still no score. There's Sonishin trying to beat Howry. Don't think the shot ever got through, and it rolls all the way on back. Ducks get a full new 5 out there. 11:30 left. First period, no score. Here will the Ducks try to get it out to Jesse Leonard. They do, and Leonard flipped that one toward the opposite end of the ice. Gives chase. Puck is glued to the ice and now finally gets back toward the vicinity of Cooper Ashworth. Now Nick Shabara with some speed behind the net. Shabara has good speed and good skating ability, and we saw maybe some one-timer wraparound opportunities last night for the Ducks that they didn't go for. We'll have to monitor that through the rest of the game. Intercepted there by Taron Donnelly. He ripped it on net. That puck was bouncing around as he shot it. Made life difficult for Burford, but he was equal to the save. Back to the point, thrown on goal. And loose again in front. Shabara tries to keep it in. Ashworth couldn't get it down, but that will go for icing. And Washington State disagrees.
I mean, you can make the argument that Oregon touched it there. I thought the same thing, but the linesman was right there. So
yeah, you could make the argument that Oregon touched it, and it looked like a pretty even foot race too. And again, with hybrid icing, we try to explain it, and I think the short answer is it can be anyone's guess sometimes. Thrown on goal off the icing, or off the face-off. Ducks trying to set up the one-timer. Sammy Rosenberg wanted the puck. Harrison Landers then threw it on goal. Now back for Joe Hoover, just does keep it in. Opportunity for Oregon, but Pat Taylor couldn't deflect it on goal. Puck in the corner, now taken behind their own goal. Does Washington State. Exactly 10 minutes left in the first period, rather. Zach Sonishin bothered a little bit by Cody Dries, but not enough to get rid of the puck, and Sonishin still with it. And then Sonishin knocks Joe Hoover down. Taylor didn't know where the puck was. It was behind him and wasn't able to turn it into any kind of a rush. Instead, he'll just dump it. Oregon gets the line change again. 9:35 left, first period. Still waiting on the first goal of the game. You get the feeling that this might be a game where that first goal goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely. But the Ducks have put a lot of pressure against Washington State here in the last 5 minutes, so definitely a good
Foss
sign.
on goal, and Foss tried to get it to Yale, rather. One-timer went just wide of the cage, and Oregon's had those good setup plays. They've been in good positions at times, trying to get it there again, and good slide tackle there from Washington State, but they got the ball or the puck first. Referees won't be interested in calling anything. Mind is also at the Rose Bowl today with the U.S. men's national team, if I make a few more soccer references than normal. Last I heard, that game was 1-1 with the U.S. and Mexico playing. 8:50 left, first period. And we'll have another face-off to the right of Howry. Trevor Schott on ice now. Chris Campbell keeps it on the ice. And Campbell still with it.
Trevor's lucky he didn't get clocked there. His head was down the whole way.
Oh, Oregon trying to do something. Yale to Chris Campbell. Campbell back to Yale. Yale dumps it back around for Captain Chris. Mike Luke all the way up in the corner. And Luke will get it again in the corner. Finds Campbell. Luke knocked down. He's not used to being on that end of a hit. And Trevor Schott fires, and Ducks seem to be trying to go low stick side. They've missed the net a couple times in that area. Schott hits a Washington State skate, and they'll break up ice now. They just do gain the red line and dump it in. They'll get a change. They send one man down to collect it, and he's run into by Mr. Michael Luke. Now it's just dumped down by Oregon. You hear the linesman, no ice, but the Ducks get a change, so not much pressure on the puck, but Oregon will get to it. Jesse Leonard had Pat Taylor trying to take a piece out of the ice there. Tapping for that, so pounding his stick so hard. He was in good position. You can't blame him. Definitely. 7:15 left. First period, still no score. Oregon is starting to maybe look a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, but you know what? They're winning the time of possession battle. They're putting more shots on net. Eventually, those shots will start to go in.
And 7 minutes left. Washington State, the puck in their own zone. And they try to find Sonishin direct. Ricocheted off the boards, he couldn't get it. Puck in the Duck zone though. Washington State trying to get some sustained offense. Back to Efrenson. Efrenson for Sonicson, and Sonicson couldn't get it to his defenseman J.D. Dunn, keeping it in the zone. So back through the neutral zone, they'll have to re-enter. Physical play on Sonicson, and you talked about this with Bill Leahy yesterday. That's going to have to be something that the Ducks really use as a focus. Just keep an eye and keep a body on Sonicson, and I think that puck may have deflected off of a player on the bench.
Well, they've definitely been trying to get to him physically, and that's pretty much all you can do in the realm of the rules to try and shut a player down, and they're doing a pretty good job of it today.
An important qualifier there.
Yeah.
Jake Yale looked like he won the faceoff, but it set Washington State up with some offense, at least initially. Then Trevor Schott finds Yale, and now for Zach Foss. Back to Yale. Yale with the shot. And Yale has the puck taken away from him. Washington State trying to move forward, but good defense there in the neutral zone by the Ducks. And Trevor Schott now moves around one man. Nearly moved around to second, but had it poke-checked away from him. Trevor Schott still with it behind the net, trying to set up the one-timer for Foss, who's hit a little bit late. That slapper hits some skates. And back behind the net for Yale. Yale to Schott, who does go for the wraparound, and goalie had to look to make sure he had it. 5:22 left. First period, still no score. What does Oregon have to do to get that first goal?
They just got to keep doing what they're doing. They're putting a lot of pressure on Burford. They're winning the time of possession battle. Eventually, you'd like to think Burford will just get tired, or maybe let one in like he did yesterday. And but I think this first one's coming soon.
It definitely feels at the moment more like Oregon to score than Washington State, but that is not to discount the effort that the Cougars have had, because they have looked strong so far at times today.
Oh, that was never under the goalie's glove, so I don't know what the ref was thinking out there.
Well, Colin could see it from 150 feet away. The referee seemed to have lost it right in front of himself. But, again, stuff happens.
Yep.
Came very close to saying a word that was not stuff. It rhymes with it. Jesse Leonard on the puck. Shabara took it away from a Cougar. Washington State just trying to get something going. Good takeaway by Chris Campbell, but I think the Ducks got away with an offside there for sure.
Well, the ref had it for delayed, but it probably could have gone for an instant offsides.
So here we go again now. Under 5 minutes left in this first period. Would you believe it? Still no score. And this is a lot of space for Sonishin to deal with. He just took kind of the easy shot right at the equipment of Howry, and I'm not really sure why he went for that simple of an option, but he did. We'll take it. Still no score. Good save for Howry. I think every save when you're kind of at this point in a career, every save you make is critical for building that confidence.
Well, yeah, and you're also just trying to prove yourself to your teammates, especially the upperclassmen who've been used to the previous goalie and how great he was. So not only are you trying to prove to his teammates that he's going to be good in between the pipes, he's also trying to prove to himself, like, hey, I'm fit for this job. I'm fit to be the starter.
And Dries chops at the face-off there. Moved back to a Cougar, though. Ducks trying to get something going. And Dries corner towards Taryn Donnelly. Donnelly fires it on goal. Ducks going for the deflection. Not making life easy for Mr. Burford. And now they're trying to score short side on him there. A backhand attempt from Pat Taylor. Interesting thought process from Pat. Pat Taylor looking to build on the hat trick he had in the Pac-8 semifinals last year. And that not so graceful there. Looked like Cooper Ashworth falling down behind his own goal, but Ducks managed to break out with the puck. Trevor shot around a couple of guys. Backhander, and he scores!
Filthy.
May I add, So Dylan and I talked about this after the game yesterday. We really wanted to see something out of Shoddy today. Very important part of the offense for the Ducks last year. And Colin, you see why on that play.
He had his chances yesterday. He's had his chances so far in this period, and finally one of them got through. Look for him to be a big focal point for this offense moving forward.
Yeah, if he can keep doing that, no kidding. Oregon takes a 1-0 lead, 2:50 left. Here comes Shoddy again. Now Washington State, the response will be important from the Cougars. Shot trying to find Yale. Couldn't do it. Good poke there at it, and knocked down. That's looked a lot like a hand pass, and indeed it was.
Yeah.
.228 left. Oregon would love nothing more than to keep this 1-0 lead into the intermission, or hell, even better, out of second goal. Maybe not the most expert analysis of sports ever that a team wants to keep winning, but it's true. 2:20 left. Jesse Leonard tried to find Shabara, taken away briefly by Washington State. Back to Leonard off of Washington State's skate. And now Campbell with it, but Campbell lost the puck for J.D. Dunn, who flips it off the boards. Goes the length of the ice, but not fast enough for it to be anything relating to icing, so Oregon has to get to it. Jesse Leonard trying to get it out of the zone. Now the Ducks do get it through the neutral zone into the Washington State zone. Chris Campbell has Jesse Leonard and Nick Shabara. Couldn't get the puck on it. Here comes Washington State again. J.D. Dunn. Dunn trying to center a pass. They can't get through.
Great
There's a breakaway opportunity for Campbell. And he was just sort of hounded just enough from behind that he couldn't do anything with that. But he certainly got in behind the defense there. Another opportunity for the Ducks, and a shot goes wide. Ducks get to the rebound behind the goal, Seth Starr. Started Dries, one-timer for Taylor, not there. Taylor's hungry tonight as well. Chopped goal for Seth Starr. It looked like had the last touch on it. 2-0 Oregon, exactly 60 ticks left in the first period.
Well, the Ducks have just been doing this the whole period, getting pressure on the goalie, and now the pucks are starting to go in.
I think that may have been Pat Taylor kind of sprinted to the bench on his celebration there. That was one of the greater moments of the Pac-8 tournament last year. Chris Campbell scored a goal and kind of looked around, didn't know what to do with himself in celebration, so he just sprinted to the bench and hopped the boards, and may have been a little homage from Pat Taylor there. Oregon smells a little bit of blood now, and they want to really add to this if they can. 47 seconds left. They've got a 2-0 lead. One filthy goal from Trevor Schott and one less filthy but just as effective goal from right out in front in the slot. Oh, a near one-time goal there, again from Pat Taylor. He really smells the goal tonight. Someone lost a stick on a slash there, or interference. It's a penalty one way or another. Cody Dries, the guilty party.
Yeah, I didn't really see that one, but you know what? Give the ref.
I heard what sounded like stick-on-stick contact and then a stick go flying, and usually if you hit the stick hard enough that it is dropped, they'll call the slash, but the signal was interference. Could have just as easily been tripping the way these games go, or roughing.
We had one of those, or a few of those last night. So
you and I might take a penalty by the end of the year.
Yeah.
23 seconds left in the period. This time the penalty clock starts right away. We'll see if they remember to turn off the penalty timer when we go to the intermission. Trevor Schott with a little bit of pressure shorthanded on Aaron Patel. Patel will just skate out the remainder of this first period. So Oregon 2, Washington State nothing. The same score, we'll add, that we ended the first period with last night, and that game continued to develop into quite an interesting series of events. The highlight of the first period, the highlight of the series so far, was that goal from Trevor Schott, skating through to the defense pretty much end to end and then putting it in the back of the net. The second goal from the Ducks, again, I do think it was Seth Starr that had it. Pat Taylor was right in the vicinity too. We'll head down to the scorer's booth, see who the referees gave the goal to. Any parting thoughts on the first period?
Ducks looked really good. It looked even there for a while, but they started putting more shots on net. They had the time of possession down. They're looking really good. Howery hasn't really been challenged much. That'll be same story as yesterday in the first period, so it'll be interesting to see how he does moving forward, but so far the Ducks look really good.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we do have another penalty put on the board, but with 1/3 the same time clock on it, so I don't know if we're just rearranging something or what. There is not a number 7 on the Duck roster, so again, your guess at home is as good as mine in the booth. I'm going to go down to the scoring box and try and make heads or tails of everything, maybe find some hydration, and we will be back with you with some thoughts on the first period. For Colin Catman, Isaac Rosenthal, stay right where you are. Well, hello everybody. First intermission here. The clock shows 6:44 left before we get set for second period of hockey play. We are going to start though with some important news. We've been told by somebody in our comment stream that it is not in fact Burford in goal for the Cougars tonight, but it is Zach Stewart who is between the pipes. So we will notate that and we will move on. Not afraid to admit our mistakes here, but we are about to witness, Dylan, if you're ready, a very historic moment for the Oregon hockey broadcast. What you were about to see is a replay of something that actually happened today. So we're going to bring it in behind his own goal. Here comes Trevor Schott's goal. Ducks managed to break out with the puck. Trevor Schott around
Just
a couple of guys. Absolutely filthy coast-to-coast move from Trevor Schott there. Great job, Dylan, queuing that up and having it ready for us to show on our intermission. So here comes one more time. Can we see it again? And once again, it looks just as pretty the second and third times you watch it. So that's the story of how we got here. There was that goal, and we did confirm Seth Starr was the player who sort of chopped at that second goal for the Ducks, gave Oregon a 2-0 lead going into the intermission. That was the same 2-0 lead, though, that they had yesterday, and that game it was never really in doubt, but it wasn't a blowout at any point.
Definitely, but the Ducks, they looked very strong that first period. It looked like it was going to be a pretty even first period, and then the Ducks kind of just took over in the offensive zone, dominated the time of possession, threw a lot of shots on net, and eventually started going in, and that's how we got to 2-0.
So that's how we got there. We'll take a quick moment now while we have the opportunity to talk about our next broadcast, and it's coming up pretty soon as the Ducks will be up north in Seattle this week, Thursday and Friday. And those I-5 Cup games are always entertaining games, especially when you go to Seattle. That is a very difficult barn to play in. And we've talked about time and time again how they do not have the same alcohol restrictions that we do here. So that means you have fans sitting there with 12 packs and handles and all sorts of fun stuff. And the fans are also a little bit tighter to the ice than they are in this building. So you have what becomes a visiting Washington student section. They bust folks out from campus and they put them right behind the visiting penalty box.
Seventh man.
It absolutely is, and Oregon does manage to take their fair share of penalties in Seattle. So does Washington against the Ducks. We've seen plenty of extracurriculars in those games. We have over the years seen some fights, even when they're not fights, just big hits, some dirty hits, some great plays. It will be the first I-5 Cup, though, in quite a long time without the Ryan Minkoff v. Danny Cockrell matchup with the great skater and forward in Minkoff, and Danny is the great backstop and goal. So it's going to look a little bit different, and I think we're really excited. Oregon kind of does have a little bit of the advantage. It's their year to host the back end two games, and I suppose this is all a lesson for you as well, Colin. The way that series works, they play an they play an even number of games. They only play 4 between the two of them. So if they end up splitting the 2 games apiece, it is a shootout and a shootout only to determine who wins the I-5 Cup. That's how the Ducks lost it the last time they lost it. But they did win it last year. They'll be looking to make it 2 straight, and that starts next week. We're back, though. Second period is underway. Oregon holding on to the 2-0 lead. Cody Dries has a carryover power play. I think he was in the box at the beginning of the second period last night as well. About 1:15 left on that one. It was an interference / cross-checking / roughing / whatever you want to call it called.
It was an interesting call.
It should have been a slash. I think it was. I don't argue with the penalty itself, just with the distinction. 19:30 left. Washington State starts on the power play. Oregon's penalty kill has looked good through this first 2 games. Physical defense from Nick Shabara. And the Cougars with it at the point. Shot on goal that may have taken a deflection, ends up hitting Howry in the chest protector, and he's confident and slaps that one down. Face-off coming up in the Duck zone with 47 seconds left on the penalty to Cody Dries.
Nice little warm-up stop there for Howry to get the period off.
And Cougars go point to point, but Good defense there from the Ducks, making it a little difficult. They now try and set up, does Washington State, and that could have been dangerous as it was thrown toward goal. Deflection opportunities aplenty. Poked around by Landers. Jesse Leonard and Oregon gets the clear, and they get the man chasing here, and I think that one Taylor may want back. I think Washington State wants that play back. Both teams want a do-over on that one.
I think Stewart didn't want to do what Burford did yesterday and let in one of those. Let in one of those very soft goals. Don't want to have a legacy of Washington State goaltenders letting up those kind of goals.
No, you don't. Especially now that we have the technology for replays, you don't want to have to see that more times than you should.
Right.
Here comes Washington State, their last rush on this power play. Cody Dree is standing in the box. He wants the door open. 7 seconds left. He'll have to wait. 18:33 left in the period. Oregon 2, Washington State nothing.
Now maybe if Earl was in that home box. Home ice advantage.
Penalties turned into a minute 58 versus 2:02.
Yeah.
It has happened at this level. Sometimes you get the scratches working the home penalty box, and that door opens real fast. Again, though, these are things in college hockey, by no means unique to Eugene. 18 minutes flat left in this second period. Oregon trying to build on a 2-0 lead. Bit of a half giveaway there. And it comes out into the neutral zone here. Washington State's Nicholas Torres to his fellow defenseman, J.D. Dunn, trying to enter the zone. But Washington State will go for a line change. Long pass there. Trying to get Trevor Schott. And there was no one there chasing it as a trailer. Michael Luke tries to chip that one forward. Leg pad save, and Luke can't control it.
Schott had the right idea there, though. He knew he was going to get beat on the play, so just throw it in front of the net.
Absolutely, and as we've seen in this series, if you throw it on net from just about anywhere, you can make good things happen.
Well, absolutely, and the players know that too.
And here's Schotty again. Schott's feeling it tonight. Schott moving around, tries to center it for maybe Foss, maybe Yale. Instead, it's still the Ducks' possession. Yale back, one-timer, and great play there. Save made, though, by Zach Stewart.
Schott almost had number 2 there.
Schott, no stranger to multi-goal games. Just is kept in the zone there by Cooper Ashworth. And now not so much as Taron Donnelly takes it defensively into his own zone. Trying to find Sam Rosenberg. Rosenberg, a big presence, big physical, strong forward for the Ducks. Ashworth with it. Shot glove put down though. And Oregon nearly made it 3-0. They've had a couple of great chances so far in this second period to really build on that lead. And I think the second period was not a very strong one for the Ducks yesterday. They had a chance to really sort of expand on that lead, and they let Washington State back in it a little bit. Again, it was never a game that looked like it was about to get away from Oregon, but they never really pulled away either yesterday. And that's a difference that they're trying to make tonight.
Definitely. And Coach Leahy even acknowledged that. He said that hockey has its ebbs and flows. The objective is to try and minimize those ebbs and flows, though. Obviously, Washington State's going to have their chances, but going to be the key for the Ducks moving forward.
And again, you want to focus on playing good team hockey with a big I-5 Cup matchup coming up next week. That's something that you don't want to do things that you're not going to be able to get away with against Washington, as we have another interference penalty called here.
Be interesting to see who they get here. Well, looks like it's on Seth Starr.
Does look like it's on Seth Starr, who at the moment is taking over the flow of the team title from Trevor McCarty, although a long way to go to match the flow of Mr. McCarty. 15:56 left as Mr. Goal Scorer Seth Starr sits down. It's not a bad hockey name.
Seth Starr.
Seth Starr is a good one. 2 R's in Starr. Washington State trying the one-timer as they're getting a lot of power play minutes tonight. Oregon's looked strong on the penalty kills so far, both today and yesterday. And here's Nick Shabara, who created that opportunity. for Chris Campbell. 2 Duck skaters forward on the penalty kill.
You see that aggressive scheme that Leahy's is putting with this team. You had 2 forwards in the offensive zone there. You don't see that often.
You know, you don't, but we saw it a lot from the Ducks last year, and one of the things that Leahy mentioned in his interview with you was trying to come in and sort of have almost a cold open of a transition, a soft transition, and allow the guys to dictate what this team's culture is. And apparently a big part of that seems like it was important for the Ducks to maintain is that aggressive penalty kill.
Well, like Coach Leahy said, they didn't have much time to practice. So that's pretty much all you can do there.
And we even saw, yesterday, we saw 2 guys forward on a 5-on-3 at one point. So
which I've never seen before.
I don't think I even saw that from the Ducks before. So, you know, it worked for them, though. Ducks didn't give up a power play goal yesterday. And there's Sonicson right into the equipment of Mr. Jackson Howry. So good job from Jackson to see that one the whole way. He did have the one goal yesterday that he allowed that it looked like he should have seen the whole way. And we have a visitor in the booth. Very strange insect visitor that has decided to crawl up our...
He's on my cord.
He is. Well, you've got a fan club.
That's good. Second game already getting insects on my side.
And Dylan, the best producer in the Pack 8, is going to get it dealt with. All part of the producer's duties.
He has my MVP vote.
14-14 left. The bug is out of the announcing booth. 2-0 still the score. 14 seconds left on the penalty to Seth Starr, who's still patiently sitting down. Might be time to stand up and be ready. Now he'll stand. 2 seconds, 1 second, and making up for the early open last time. That one maybe opened a little bit second late. Starr eventually made his way toward the bench, but then he found himself on top of the puck, so tried to do something with it. And now Starr will actually stay out there along with Sam Rosenberg and Pat Taylor up front. Darren Taylor and Taryn Donnelly on defense. And I said it last night, those 2 are only paired together to drive me crazy. Taryn and Darren on D for the Ducks. 13:33 left, second period. Washington State trying to get something together. Far side boards. Now they'll try and move across ice back to the point. Litchfield with the shot, but deflected. That was Nick Torres, rather. Rosenberg now. Rosenberg trying to launch Seth Starr instead. They'll go to the bench, and Sam just does avoid a big hit there. Puck still in the neutral zone. And Nick Shabara now doing some dancing of his own, does Shabara, wearing the number 9 for the Ducks this season. Rosenberg behind the net, tries to get it back to Scooby. Start and stop from Nick Shabara. And now back for Rosenberg. Rosenberg still trying, Chris Campbell rather there. Campbell, hard check toward the stanchion.
Look for Shabara to get going sometime this game. He's a really good player. Should be getting a goal sometime soon.
And we've already seen one of the Ducks' skilled skaters in Trevor Schott make that brilliant move to score in the first period. You saw the first ever replay on a Duck hockey broadcast at intermission, and we'll try and bring you some more interesting plays at the second. Do we have goal number 2 ready, Dylan, while we've got a break? This was the Seth Starr goal that we're about to see. Or will it have to wait maybe till the next whistle? We'll wait till the next whistle on it. Advanced stuff from the Duck hockey production staff. Another penalty coming up. That's a Washington State touch, and that one is a tripping, and Chris Campbell, I'm sure entirely accidentally and nothing more, bumped into a Washington State Cougar. Let's go to that replay. You see it one more time? Tripping penalty was Andrew Efrenson.
If you just sit out in front of the net long enough, good things happen. That's what Seth Starr did there.
You know, one of the 3 goals I scored in my extensive roller hockey career was the first game I ever played, and that was basically exactly what happened. I knew where to be. I went to the front of the goal. My teammate was behind the net. He got the puck. He gave it to me, and I thought it would always be that easy. It turned out it was not, but part of that had to do with not being able to skate to save my life. Ducks with it in the corner on the power play to Jesse Leonard behind the net. Now back to the point. Point to point. Joe Hoover threw a shot forward that certainly took a deflection. Was very dangerous, and Washington State in a little bit of trouble on the penalty kill. Hoover again now. Hoover tried to throw it to the middle, cleanly intercepted. And now a chance for a shorthanded opportunity for Washington State. Excuse me. Sort of half-heartedly chased there shorthanded by Wazoo, but the Ducks, meanwhile, can't get it out of their own zone. 54 seconds left. Oregon on the power play, and on their heels a little bit are the Ducks. Chris Campbell flips it forward for Harrison Landers, and now the Ducks with an opportunity. Here's Trevor Schott and Nick Shabara. Look out when they're on the ice together. One-time opportunity trying to find Chris Campbell. Would have been a goal if he got any amount of stick on that one. Then Taron Donnelly slid it over, but it was off the skate of Harrison Landers. He couldn't get anything to it. And now back completed pass to Schott. Lost in the neutral zone for the Ducks backwards towards Howry. 21 seconds left on the penalty to Andrew Efrenson, the giant defenseman for Washington State. Jake Yale. Shot through, loose in front still. Yale couldn't settle it in time to knock that one back in. Trevor Schott scores number 2. That one will just barely count as a power play goal. 2 seconds left, and you do not want to let number 95 get that much space in front of goal. You are going to have a bad time.
Trevor Schott's having himself a game. Went bartender top shelf there.
Well, 10:05 left in this second period. Oregon with their second 3-0 lead, so far exactly the same script unfolding as last night, and we'll see if this game starts to change. Sam Rosenberg got his stick caught up in a Cougar there, and everyone lets go, and we'll continue to play 5-on-5 hockey. Puck's out of play, whistle blows.
This is what Oregon needs, though. They need the offense to come from the guys that we expect it to come from. You see Trevor Schott getting 2 goals tonight. Last night, the defense was the large part of how the offense was going. So to see the big guys step up is a good sign for the Ducks.
Absolutely. Speaking of big guys, the faceoffs won back to defense to Michael Luke and Sam Rosenberg. A lot of size out there for the Ducks right now, between Darren Toller, Sam Rosenberg, and Michael Luke himself, and there's a big check thrown by Michael Luke, just sort of pushed a Cougar out of his way a little bit after the play.
Go for another big one.
He's Michael Luke reaching the hit everything that moves point of his game. Although he showed us last night he's got just hitting ability. Scored a great goal on a slap shot from near the blue line. Here's Cody Drees on the puck. Dreves moves around Efrenson, which isn't easy to do without losing the puck. He's got so much reach.
People don't understand how hard that really is to get by a big, smooth skating defenseman like that.
And penalty coming up against the Ducks, and no goal whistled there, and not sure which bar that hit off of. It was definitely one of them, but the whistle as the Ducks touch it, and the overhead camera may have something different to say about that. That's, if you'd like to donate an overhead camera to the Oregon Ducks hockey program, please do reach out to us. Referee is discussing this with a linesman. We talked about this yesterday in NHL hockey, and they'll give the goal there, indeed. So, well, Pat Taylor thinks he's not going to sit for that. And ACHA rule I've always been familiar with the last 2 years at least, or 3 years, it was a rule change fairly recently, is that the penalty still has to be served. So they do give the goal, and I have to say, it looked like a goal to me live.
Yeah, if we can get the replay there. That's a pretty hard shot, so it was tough to really tell.
Ducks and Cougars amicably speaking at center ice.
Here's the thing, though, Isaac. The linesmen are on the blue line. I don't know how he could say to the referee that shot went in, because the referee was in the offensive zone.
The referee did look to have the better angle.
He had the better angle, so I don't know why he's going to the linesman, who's all the way up at the blue line, to see if the puck crossed the goal line. It's really hard to see if you're that far away.
It's a compelling argument made there. That Taylor again, is in fact coming back toward the box. So this is what I mentioned to you yesterday.
I said it last night. I don't understand some of these things, and I'm lost for words here too. And I think that's what Coach Leahy's like as well. Because you shouldn't have a linesman from the blue line saying, "Yeah, that puck went in," when the referee was at the top of the circle.
And even though Washington State does score with their goalie pulled on the 6-on-5, in the NHL that would wipe off the power play because you effectively scored a power play goal. Not so in college hockey. So a big opportunity for Washington State here. 3-1 the score as it stands. Pat Taylor sits for 2 minutes just the same. If they figure out how to get his number up there. There we go. There it goes. 8:44 left. Second period of play. We'll keep our clock as accurate as we can for you. It looks like it's just about perfect right now. One of the 84 jobs that Dylan has to do. Exterminator being one of them. Puck buried in the corner. Ducks trying to dig it out, and this is great to just kill a little bit of time on the penalty kill here.
Oh, it's absolutely huge. You're trying to limit the damage as much as possible.
And Washington State finally does get the puck, and that's already a good solid shift on the penalty kill. Puck hadn't even entered the Duck zone until a minute 15 was left on that, so great job done. It's those little things.
This is great to see from the Ducks, because midway through the second yesterday, they kind of let up, and they're just putting the pressure on. They have a very consistent game today, and that's really good to see.
And Zach Foss has thought about chasing that one down. Instead, he'll allow Washington State to set up on the power play. 50 seconds left on Pat Taylor's penalty. Cody Dries dumps it in. Oregon gets another change. Half a new unit out there anyway. And Washington State, here's Sonicson. Good job. 12-on-12 crime as Jake Gale got his stick down to prevent anything from happening there. Here's J.D. Dunn. Gains the blue line. High over the goal, just did hit the top of the boards and not the netting, so we'll keep playing with 7 minutes left in the second period and 12 seconds left on the penalty to Pat Taylor. Ducks nearly killed this one off again, but not safe yet. 2 seconds left on the penalty, and the Ducks do kill it off. However, makes another nice save, and Washington State nearly scores on another high deflection. That one would have been legal had it made enough contact to score, but it didn't. The Ducks kill it off. They still lead 3-0, and Zachary Stewart tried to play that one, but I think the ref made him move it. Puck in the corner, and it's an interesting passing choice there from Washington State to knock it towards center on their own goal. I feel like that may not be the most strictly fundamental play we've seen tonight. Ducks trying to move forward, and here's an opportunity for Rosenberg to apply some pressure. Seth Starr also chasing. And Rosenberg just gets back on side. Starr in the middle. Rosenberg with the shot off the face mask of the goaltender and gave Seth Starr an opportunity to join Trevor Schott with number 2. Puck up and out of play. As we learned last night, no delay of game rule applies.
Yep.
Although I think when it benefits us, it should.
Yeah, definitely.
5:46 left, second period. Goals from Trevor Schott, Seth Starr, and Trevor Schott again. Sounds a little bit more like some of the games we described last year, mentioning Trevor Schott's name so much. Mike Luke with it. Luke tried to find Shabara. Instead, it's Chris Campbell that'll take it behind the net for the Ducks. Campbell still with it. Campbell now back for Jesse Leonard. Leonard run into, but Oregon keeps the puck. and now loses it, and Washington State to move up. That one will, in fact, go for icing. You had to hold your breath. 5:24 left. Washington State is changing in open defiance of the rules. Washington used to have a thing for doing that, and it drove me crazy watching it from the scorer's booth as a quote-unquote neutral journalist writing for the Emerald at that point, to see Washington just openly defying hockey rules and getting away with it because it wasn't something that the officials monitored. Shot into the equipment of Stewart, and the Ducks immediately pushed off of the goaltender. 5:19 left, second period of a 3-1 game.
Been another solid period for the Ducks here. They haven't let up on the pressure once, I don't think.
Much better second period than we saw from them yesterday.
Yeah.
Taron Donnelly, puck still in front, puck is loose somewhere, whistle hasn't blown, and eventually the whistle does go with the puck somewhere underneath the bodies. Can you give us any sense to what it's like as a player when you've got a puck loose somewhere down there and no one's really 100% sure where it is?
Hit someone, definitely. I played defense my whole life, and you just got to hit someone.
Well, it goes for Jesse Leonard behind the goal. 23 gets it to 24. Cooper Ashworth deflected. Puck still loose again, and that one squirts by Ashworth, and we'll go for another icing.
And to go back to that point, the reason why I say that is the referee, he sees the big thing too. And it's really hard to focus on the puck than focus on other people, pushing each other, all those things. So not only is it helping your goalie out, you can also get away with a little physical action.
Spoken like a defenseman.
Yeah.
One-timer from Hoover deflected down. That was Trevor Schott looking for the Hattie that got the stick down. And Jake Yale swings and misses at a one-timer. Back for Harrison Landers, who threw it on goal. It hit Trevor Foss. Even the puck likes to hit Foss. I'm sorry. You know I love you, Zach. Shot on goal there, and again, Zach Stewart left with no recourse but to just lie down and hope the puck is somewhere underneath him. 4:26 left.
Judging by Dylan's reaction, that's probably one of the better Foss references made on this broadcast.
I don't think I've ever referenced the getting Fossed in relation to the puck before.
That's a low blow, actually.
That's pretty low, actually. There's not much that Zach could have done there, but we have fun here. We like to have fun.
No harm, no foul. He's got a goal in the season already.
Here is Zach behind the net with it. Joe Hoover had the puck. Would have been entirely set up by Zach Foss. Jake Yale still with it. Back to the point. One-time shot from Landers. And that time will go no ice as Washington State got there quickly enough. Here is Foss backing into the boards a little bit. And Trevor Schott goes down, and the arm stays down as well.
Perplexing, but you know what?
It's a word. In a word, perplexing. Certainly looked like a bit of a takedown there, but there's, speaking of a takedown, that will draw the arm up. And a number of things that might become.
We might have another one.
Might have two on Joe Hoover on that play, and Trevor Schott pushes a man as well. So we'll get a rough.
He's lucky he got away with one there too. He could have had 4 on the board.
He might. We'll see. I think they both could be roughs if there are 2 of them. Certainly, given the way that it was called last night. Only one indication of roughing from the referee, and he didn't speak to the clock man, which usually means it's just standard 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When you see him lean in for the conference, more stuff is usually happening. As it stands, it will be 1 2-minute penalty for roughing on Joe Hoover moments after the no call on what looked like a pretty clear trip of Trevor Schott. Trip or a hook, or the way these officials call the game, a checking from behind or a cross check, or again, any number of things, but
Let's just go with rough. That seems to be
the standard
call of choice.
ACHA call.
Yeah.
3:05 left in this one. 1:39 left on the penalty to Joe Hoover. Not anymore, though, as the first penalty kill or power play goal surrendered by the Ducks this season is put up by Washington State, and the walk of shame for Joe Hoover.
Same script as yesterday. 3-0 in the second. Now it's 3-2. Only difference is I still think the Ducks have had a really good second period outside of the 2 goals that they let up.
Some interesting moments in this series between the maybe goal, maybe not goal. It was given in this game. Call made by the linesman 40 feet behind the play. Who knows? The high stick goal yesterday. That one's going to be real hard to see from our camera. Although we had about the same angle as the linesman did, and he was the one that made the definitive call.
And you think it went in?
To me, it looked like a good goal live, but certainly I would have said the referee had a better angle than I did. I wouldn't really, never going to argue with the referee on that one in this direction anyway. If the script was flipped, I think you all know me well enough by this point. 2:30 left in the second period. It's a 3-2 game now. And we've got some pushing and shoving in front of the Ducks net. Now we're looking a little like a hockey game with 2:25 left in the second period.
Howery's having some words for the refs over there.
Yeah, Howery thinks he's maybe a little bit invasion of personal space. Goalies are a very
Coach Leahy isn't happy either. He's right down there on the bench.
And if I know hockey coaches, I don't know that we could repeat the language that's being used.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Safe assumption.
Right.
Safe assumption. We do try and be a remotely family-friendly broadcast.
For a not-so-family-friendly sport.
No.
Yeah.
Although we're a family-friendly environment, a lot of kids come out to these games. Only sometimes is the PA music half swearing. It's never supposed to, but that rule doesn't always get followed. Trevor Schott and Zach Foss. 3-on-2 if the Ducks really hurry. Schotty will take it behind the net. Now it's Seth Starr there. Hoover keeps it in for Foss. Foss hits off the shin guards of a Cougar pair of legs there, rather. And Foss trying to throw a hit of his own on Christian McCormick. He'll do that from time to time as well.
You know, you see Coach Leahy already mixing and matching the lines here. Seth Starr usually isn't on this line with Schott and Foss.
Well, you're trying to find the right group of guys at this point in the season, and trying to find a group of guys that will fulfill the philosophies you want to eventually instill as a coach. So no surprise on the mixing and matching. You hope you can have that down by the time you get your first I-5 Cup game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some slot machine lines in that one as well.
Moving forward here, especially in the third period, I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Leahy match Nick Sabara and Trevor Schott on a line just to get some offense back, just to separate themselves from the Cougars once and for all. To have two of your best offensive players.
Penalty coming up there as the net was... Duck ran into the net. There's the touch from Washington State, hooking the call. Howery makes his way to the bench and makes his way right back to the crease.
Oh, about
49 seconds left in the period. 2 minutes on the penalty to Nick Torres, number 52, taking up a lot of space in the box down there, hooking again the infraction. Oregon has looked strong on the power play, but they haven't scored on it yet tonight. A couple of power play goals yesterday, so still a very good percentage for the Ducks on the season. Taron Donnelly to Chris Campbell. Captain Chris Campbell, we hear. which is quite a sentence. Nick Shabara on the puck. Shabara is surveying his options. Washington State will give him the personal space to do so. And that one could have been very dangerous. Shabara with it. Jesse Leonard. Mike Luke. Luke surveying the options, thought about a shot. Taron Donnelly with it, trying to keep possession. Chris Campbell has slid back to the point, and he couldn't keep the puck. And that will do it for the second period. So we go as a one-goal game into the last 20 minutes of play. We will take a quick break. We'll try and queue up as many fun replays as we can, and we will talk all about the second period. But first, we'll take a quick break, so do not go anywhere. Oregon 3, Washington State 2, and we will keep the camera rolling as we always do for Chuck a Puck. just about halfway through the second intermission here. Ali making his way around the ice on the Zamboni, and we're going to go back to the videotape and take a look at the events of that second period. And we'll start it off with Trevor's shots. Second goal of the game put the Ducks up 3-0 at the time. And he just sort of had the puck right in front of goal. You see anything in particular on this one?
Well, I mean, the puck was just rolling out there in front, and Shot went top shelf with it. And he knew the goalie wasn't ready for it, and that's probably why he put it there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very hard place where Mama keeps the cookies to get your glove.
Definitely.
And that was the end of the scoring for the night so far for the Ducks. And since then, just like we saw last night, 3-0 becomes 3-1, becomes 3-2. And let's take a look at some of those Cougar goals now. One of them was, at the time, a little bit controversial. Shot rang out, was initially whistled no goal. I thought live that it may have been a goal, but it was whistled no goal. Then the linesman, who was way back behind the play, gave the goal after a discussion with the referee. But through the power of replay, we were able to just barely determine. We can kind of see the puck going in top shelf there, and we'll look at it once more.
You see how he was a little left there on his goalpost, and that's where Washington State, they put it on his glove side, and he wasn't moving towards the glove side, and that's what got him there.
And then finally the third goal, if we got that right, Dylan. That was the fifth goal of the game, Washington State's second goal, the first power play goal surrendered by the Ducks this season. And that one looked a little bit like Shot's goal as well, just a clean shot on goal and beat the goaltender.
Definitely. That's what Washington State's been doing the whole game, just been putting shots on net, and Howry led into this period. But I still think he's looked pretty good so far. The Ducks in general have looked a lot more consistent in the second period and in this game in general than they did last night.
Absolutely. Well, we're really glad to be able to bring you those replays. That is a very, very new thing for us, and it's something that we wanted to do all last season, and we may or may not have had the capability last season. I don't know if it's a software change or if we're just learning things a little bit better, but we're figuring them out, and we're trying to bring you a better broadcast every single week out. So we'll take one more quick break. The clock shows 6:25, so you've just barely got time to make that sandwich before the third period starts. Oregon 3, Washington State 2. Start of the third is coming up. And we are all just about set. Earl's got to make his way to the penalty box, but other than that, we're all just about set for the third period of play. For the second night in a row, it figures to be an exciting third period, with Oregon still leading as they have this entire series, but leading only 3-2 going into the final 20 minutes of hockey. Oregon does have a carryover power play, a minute 11 seconds to be precise, on the penalty to Nick Torres, and a false beginning to the period. There we go, underway in the third period. Penalty clock running, the game clock running, we're all set, our clock is running. It's a beautiful day for hockey. Nick Shabara chases that one down, and Washington State will just clear it and try and give it a little bit of chase, and a half-hearted backhand there from the mystery number 28. Jesse Leonard flips that one forward. Chris Campbell gets to it, and now back for Shabara. Lander tried to keep it in, but cleared by Washington State, and Jackson Howery out of his crease to get to that one. 34 seconds left. One more solid shift on the power play for Oregon, with a 3-2 lead early third period. Start and stop from Landers, now back for Chris Campbell, but Campbell lost the puck. J.D. Dunn with a 2-on-2, short-handed, and crashing into the net are several players. Nick Torres wants to know what he's doing when he gets out of the penalty box, trying to communicate with the bench by hammering away at the boards. Hockey players communicate with guttural sounds and hitting things hard. I'm sure there's more meaning to it than that, but I'm getting the sense that not much.
Yeah, banging on the boards, frustrated. It's just, for whatever reason, the boards just get the punishment.
And
you kind of just don't know what else to do, too.
Yeah, you got to do something when you're in the penalty box. Yeah. And here come the Ducks now, even strength, 18:30 left. Third period, 3-2 lead for Oregon. They haven't trailed this series, but they've never pulled away. Zach Foss with the puck. Foss back for Taron Donnelly. Donnelly on goal. They try to get the deflection. It's loose, and just quite not able to get the hat trick there was Trevor Schott. That would have been too easy for Schotty.
Just rolling around there. It trickled a little bit wide.
Zach Foss flips it. Another deflection attempt for the Ducks. Puck loose again. Don't think they quite know where it is, and now it gets to the corner. Washington State trying to move out, but flipped away behind the goal for Jake Yale. Yale trying to center for Schott. Didn't get there, but was right back to Yale. Another shot for the Ducks. That one hit the post and is loose, and Washington State gets the clear.
Ducks need to keep this up, because Zach Stewart, I've noticed, has given up a lot of rebounds, and that's what's led to a couple of these goals.
Yeah, and if Oregon almost gave it away there, trying to get it out. Puck bounces up, and Oregon with the chance on it now. Here's Trevor Schott with some speed. Back into the neutral zone. Players going down, losing pieces of equipment all over the place. And a little bit maybe shaken up there. That one off the post into the netting. Big collision afterwards, and Sam Rosenberg got up looking around. .17:08 left third period. Oregon 3, Washington State 2. And we have a timeout called here, perhaps?
It looks like the face-off's just going outside for whatever reason.
Well, pick one. You won't be correct, but it doesn't matter why. It just matters that it happened. 17 minutes flat now. Sonicson with it. And Sonicson run into by Cody Dries.
Ducks have done a really good job of shutting down Sonicson this game.
Pat Taylor trying to chase. Here's J.D. Dunn, just lost track of the puck, has to go back and get it. And then that pass, a little bit sloppy, comes outside the zone for Nicholas Torres. Here come the Cougars again. J.D. Dunn. Puck through to Sonichin, and that one saved by Howery. Howery's looked strong. Ducks on the puck. It's Sammy Rosenberg. Rosenberg trying to get it to Shabara, and does. Shabara now back to Rosenberg. One-time shot there. It's loose. It's goal for the Ducks. Sammy 4 goals with his first of the season. Sammy Rosenberg. 16-02. Oregon 4, Washington State 2, and just like you said, those pucks, birthday presents in front on the rebound.
Zach Stewart's just given up a ton of rebounds, and the Ducks have done a good job of keeping bodies in front of the net, and they've gotten all 4 of their goals doing exactly that.
So eerily similar scorelines so far. 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2.
Not many weird goals this game, though.
No, the goals have been a little bit prettier this game. One of them stands out above the rest, I think, but they all count just the same, and it's 4-2 Oregon. Nick Shabara, Oregon will be on the power play shortly. Ducks trying to get another one, and Washington State did not touch that puck.
Only thing I can think of there is the refs probably trying to avoid a nasty collision or whatnot, but still, you shouldn't be doing that. They were
about to, holding the call.
Holding the stick is the call.
And Christian Schenk.
Don't see that one often, holding the stick.
No, you do not. Oregon on the power play again. Power play has not looked quite as good today as it did yesterday, and it certainly didn't open very well there with Chris Campbell and Joe Hoover running into each other. They get it back to Hoover now, and Hoover back to a forward. Back for Hoover. Hoover to Harrison Landers. Landers with a shot. Low shot, and knocked down there was a Duck player. Looked like Jesse Leonard, and I think Zach Stewart lost a helmet there, having a man knocked into him.
Washington State's defense has been really physical in front of the net this game, and not many calls, which is surprising given that the fact that this ref is pretty much calling a penalty on every big hit there's been.
Refs calling penalties when the refs feel like they need to call a penalty just in case you've forgotten that they're there.
I'd say this is a better officiated game than yesterday, though.
The standard not necessarily high.
Right.
15-18 left. And someone ran into the boards. It was Trevor Schott. He's back up. He's okay. Taryn Donnelly with the puck. Ducks lose it. And who else but Zach Sonishin, and good play there defensively from Mike Luke. Sonishin half-hearted shot is sticked away. And Seth Starr, the last to touch that, and no icing apparently on that one. As the Ducks, of course, are still, well, they're on the power play. Not sure there, but again, we won't waste our time. Working out the kinks. Second broadcast of the year. Looks like we appear to be back live. 13:26 left. Oregon still leads 4-2. We thank you for bearing with us through our technical difficulties. Chris Campbell with it in front of the Oregon bench. Back for Cooper Ashworth. Not on the same page. Nearly disastrous striking. Taryn Donnelly moving through the neutral zone. And that puck just flipped up high in the air. Glued to the neutral zone at the moment. Chris Campbell throws it forward and will try and chase it. Nick Shabara approaching the puck as well. Scooby gets it. Shabara Leonard, first time shot, deflected up and wide. And we're back through the neutral zone. Oregon with the puck again. Jesse Leonard, 12:35 left. Third period. We'll see if we get the late goalie change from Washington State again. Still one of the more bizarre things I've ever seen.
Jury's still out on that, yeah.
Shabara flips it forward. Efrenson knocks it forward, but would have been offside, so Cougars had to reset. Washington State wants icing. They won't get it. 12:05 left. Third period and the game. 4-2 still the score. Oregon equaling their goal scoring total from last night. And Sonicson fires a rocket there. Did
Little
end
pick
up
play set up there by Washington State. I'm surprised the ref didn't see that.
Oh, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous play as Howery was sprawled out in the wrong direction, but Oregon able to get the desperation clear, and no goal for Washington State. Joe Hoover on the puck now. Surveys his options in his own zone. Tried to find Cooper Ashworth and did, and Ashworth had trouble finding the puck himself. Thrown into the corner now, and Hoover for Trevor Schott. Those two joined the Ducks both last year, and they looked like they were both going to be big contributors to the team, and they both were, and they both continue to be. 11:14 left in this period, and in this game, Yale knocked off the puck. Foss tried to throw it on goal, and now Washington State trying to create something, and maybe they'll get something, but good job poked away there. And now we've just got some pushing and shoving there. Still loose in front, and what do I have here? It's a hockey puck, says Jackson Howery.
Heads up play there by Howard to cover that.
.10:53 left, approaching the halfway point of this third period, and you can really tell the difference in these two games that Washington State's deeper bench than we're used to seeing from them has, being able to play with the Ducks through all three periods. They haven't, again, really looked like a team that was going to win one of these games, but they've been making Oregon work for it in this season opening.
Definitely, and I'm sure the next time we see this Washington State Cougars team, we'll see a different team, and it might be closer, or it might be the same score. We might get better, too. You never know. But this Washington State team has held their own with Oregon.
Oh, there goes Pat Taylor making a move. Taylor's got a chance. Rebound for Oregon. They couldn't do it there. And that's a big missed opportunity to make this 5-2. That would have gone a long way toward ending this game prematurely. You're never out of the woods in a hockey game, though. No lead is big enough. Here's Jesse Leonard trying to get to it. Would have been destroyed by Nicholas Torres.
Nick Torres has just been throwing big hits the whole game. Big physical defenseman the Cougars have.
And Shabara with it behind the goal. Shabara still with it. And now to Jesse Leonard. As, just like we've said, Nick Torres continuing to throw his body around. It's wound him up in the box a few times, but he's made more than a few clean hits as well. Ducks just swinging at that one was Chris Campbell. Jesse Leonard trying to get it back to Campbell. It's still with Leonard, and now Campbell has it behind the goal. Campbell still with it, now to Leonard again, back to Campbell. Campbell to Nick Shabara. Shabara drops it back for Campbell. And Ducks just content to kind of try and set something up here, maybe eat a little bit of clock and eventually lead to a shot on goal, or a goal better yet. Washington State with other plans, but Darren Toller toes that one forward and just does keep it in the zone. Very nicely done by Darren there, and Oregon gets a line change. J.D. Dunn went down there. Oregon gets the puck back. Setting up in their own zone are the Ducks. Bad giveaway to Zach Sonishin, but Oregon gets the puck back very shortly, so again, no harm, no foul. One-timer by Sonishin, wide of the cage. Not an easy thing to do, even just to get a good clean shot off on one of those. No one was there for Washington State to be able to slam that one home. There was a lot of open cage to the side of Howry. And big collision there. Little bit slow to get up is Hoover, but he's there.
Wow,
Oregon
that's
scores.
the Hattie. Jack's shot went back. Trevor's shot went back to top shelf.
Well, that's where he likes to go, and he's effective when he can get the shots off there. And the nice celly from Trevor as well. 8:01 left, third period, and Trevor shot the difference in this game right now. His 3 goals give Oregon a 5-2 lead.
This is exactly what the Ducks needed. Have one of their big guys step up in game number 2.
Seth Starr trying to chase it down. Starr, one of the other goal scorers for the Ducks tonight. Here's Washington State trying to respond. Washington State still trying to set up that one. Rocketed out of play. And hey, there are children up here. Watch out.
They want a souvenir from a college game, though.
I don't think they noticed the puck went over there. I think they're having too much fun playing ball hockey against the wall.
Kids these days. I would have been all over that puck back in the day.
All over. I still have a puck from the first hockey game I ever went to. Veterans Day weekend 1999, Staples Center. And the puck
I see you throwing in your plug for the Kings there.
Oh, this is the longest I've made it into a season without doing that so far.
Okay.
Penalty coming up against the Ducks. There's the whistle. There's the call.
That looked like a slash. So
Taryn Donnelly takes a seat for 2 minutes with 7:17 left. They get him right every once in a while.
yeah. Penalty kills looked really good for the Ducks so far this game.
A
though.
not easy sport to officiate is hockey.
I challenge any of our viewers to go out and try and ref a hockey game. It is not. It's really difficult to do, but sometimes the refs, you still do have to scratch your head as to why they make a call that they do, or whatever they're doing out there. But it is very hard to do.
Well, that was dangerous momentarily for Washington State. And now still dangerous. That shot comes in, deflected. Howry.
That was huge.
Big save, and Jackson's been good tonight.
Jackson Howry is making a statement tonight.
It's the second action that's been good from him. The save, then gobbling up those rebounds or loose pucks. That's huge, because you look at the way that Oregon has scored several of their goals tonight are on plays where that doesn't happen from Zach Stewart.
Jackson Howry, he's let in some soft goals today, but he's also come up with some huge saves. Got to figure as the season goes on, those soft goals will start to go away.
Absolutely, just that much more experience, that much more maturity.
Look, that's a huge
big
save.
glove save.
Yeah.
Well done. 6:33 left, 1:16 left on the penalty to Taryn Donnelly. 5-2, Oregon leads this one. Zach Foss takes a seat. And Oregon trying to clear, hit the skate of Cody Dries, and again, disaster nearly striking, but Oregon found the puck first and got the clearance. Andrew Efrenson with it. Efrenson, Washington State's club president, who is responsible for not sending me a roster like he promised this week. But I found it from their website. It's okay. We can do it. We can be self-sufficient. 6:05 left. 44 seconds left on the Taryn Donnelly slashing minor. Good poke there from Michael Luke. Ooh. That was
That's the legend Michael Luke,
that was
I
some
guess.
contact off the play.
Yeah.
We'll say that much for big number 18. No call. So again, say it with me now. No harm, no foul.
Here we go. Michael Luke's going to get into it. Oh, smart play by him.
And Luke definitely with some words. And Michael Luke, and to be fair, Michael Luke and Nicholas Torres, maybe a little bit similar player.
Oh, and Torres definitely knows that too, and so does Luke. And Luke went for the hit, I think, for that reason as well.
Oh, and we talked about the suspension that a fight can bring, and when your next game is an I-5 Cup game, you want a full bench, so good job to keep a level head there. There's Shabara moving through the zone and got the shot off. Trevor Schott looking for 4, nearly got it.
See, this is what I thought would happen. Coach Leahy matched Sabara and Schott together just to see. Oh,
it should be a trip. Place your bets now.
Yep,
what will be called? It's 2 in a row that we've agreed with the actual diagnosis. Stop the presses.
We need to keep track of that. So we're up to 2 now.
And look who's visiting his office again.
Earl's done a great job working there.
Earl doing great with that door tonight. Always
really
does.
Quick,
Earl.
really efficient.
A lot of 4s on the board. 4-4-4 left in the third period. 5-2 the score. Oregon with the lead, trying to make it 6-2. And here's the Ducks with it, trying to set up on the power play. Taking their time a little bit. .4:10 left. 1:24 left on the power play. Karen Donnelly shot it was deflected. It's loose still.
See, there's those rebounds. Stewart's just been giving up rebounds the whole game.
And once Oregon started to realize that, they've really tried to take advantage of it. Oh, Cody Breeze had a lot of net to shoot at there.
Stewart closed that gap really quick.
Oh, and that's what good goalies do. They show you something and they take it away just as quickly. Oregon has 53 seconds left to try and do something on this power play. That 53 seconds of time equally valuable. 3:26 left. Oregon with a little bit more comfortable lead tonight than last night, and a very good third period performance from the Ducks so far. But if you've listened to the broadcast since its inception, you know that nothing irritates me more than icing the puck on the power play. Just should not happen.
Ducks have really had a complete game, though. Yesterday, they came out with energy, flattened out a little bit, finished strong. It's just been a consistent amount of pressure the entire game for the Ducks, and I'm sure Coach Leahy's really happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see the team identity starting to,
it's starting,
there.
Yeah.
It was there yesterday because this is a team that it's always had a really strong sense of team, but you're starting to see a little bit different look from the Ducks this year, and you're starting to see what the 2015-16 Ducks are going to look like.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jackson Howery could be he's showing a lot of people that he's a nice replacement for Cochran.
Absolutely, and it's really to say that Danny Cockrell didn't have it easy as a freshman either. He came in replacing 2 good goaltenders in Chris Takla and Jack Barry, and went from being a situation where at that time head coach Eddie Leroy would be able to just throw 1 or 2 out there. He could really ice either one, and then all of a sudden, hey Danny, you're going to play pretty much every game this season, and not to take anything away from Trevor Peterson and Ty Anderton, the 2 Ducks backups last year, but Danny was the starter on that team, and there was really no question about it, and it looks like that's what's developing with Jackson Howery, and a very nice performance tonight. That glove has looked really strong.
Glove has been fast. And you can see the adjustment Howery made because both of those goals were on the glove side, and he's quickened that thing up pretty fast.
And Cougars had a couple of opportunities to change there. That no penalty called, and it looked like there was I think it was Nick Shabara trying to chase that down, got kind of tugged. Nothing doing in the referee's eyes. Less than 2 minutes left. Don't expect we'll see Zach Stewart pulled in a 3-goal game in the regular season, but
you never know.
With the late game goaltending strategies from the Washington State bench, They might put one of us in goal.
No,
Offside
no.
called?
Nope.
Question mark. And I think for Washington State, you have to still be. I know it's a game. The game's not over, but assuming that Oregon does hold on to this one, tough to be happy with 2 losses. But the way that Washington State-Oregon games have gone the last 5-6 years, I think that Washington State can skate away with a lot of pride from these 2 games.
The upperclassmen are really encouraged by this performance against the Ducks. If in the past they have been blown out, these guys know that. And the fact that they're playing with them, they've been playing with them last night and most of this game.
Absolutely. So maybe some good things to come in the next 3-4 years out of Washington State hockey. And it's good for the Pac-8. The more competitive teams you have, it's a league that historically it's had eras where it was Oregon and Washington. Since Utah came into the league, it's really been a Utah league. Other than that first season, Utah has been in the Pac-8 championship game every year they've been in this tournament or in this league. Washington took it from them the first year, and the last 2 seasons it was Utah. So, it's good the more depth you can have as we get under 1 minute left in this game, 5-2, and it's good for things like regional rankings as well. You want to send a team or 2 to regionals if you can. 45 seconds left. Oregon holding on and looks a lot like they're going to win this game with a 5-2 lead. Washington State would need a minor miracle at this point. 35 seconds left as Ollie walks his way to heat up the Zamboni. Puck out of play. 30 seconds exactly left. And the linesman wants that puck. He wants to get ready to go home.
All the grief you give Zach Foss about getting Foss, he dodged a big hit. I don't know if anyone saw that, but he avoided the Foss.
It's just.
So I'm going to point out some positive with him.
It's an all-inclusive term now.
Yeah.
And again, he's looked strong offensively this season.
Oh, definitely.
16 seconds left. Here's Taron Donnelly. Donnelly tried to find Mr. Foss, who I don't think it counts as getting Fossed when it's Nicholas Torres because he hits everything. Yeah. I'm going to have to be careful on my way out of this game if I walk by Torres. There's the horn. Oregon does, in fact, hold on. 5-2, your final score. Oregon is 2-0 to start the season. It gets a lot tougher next week in Washington. Again, the play of the game by far, that Trevor Schott goal. We'll try and re-rec tape a little bit and show you a couple of more of those. We will take a quick break and we'll be back to set the table. Or take the dishes to the kitchen, I guess. Something like that. I don't know.
Bring in the closer.
We'll figure it out. Oregon does win 5-2. They are 2-0 to start the season. We'll be back with a Washington game from Seattle next week, our 3rd straight year going with the boys up to Seattle. We'll put the headsets down. We'll figure out a better way to put a bow on that broadcast than whatever it is I just said. Well, hello one last time. Isaac Rosenthal joined by Colin Catman, my color commentator tonight and all season long, as the Ducks finish off a 5-2 win and a sweep of the Washington State Huskies. We've reviewed the tape, and upon further review, we are going to give our play of the game to Trevor Schott's third goal, in fact, off the turnover in the Cougar zone, and he just turned around and did what he does best, put that goal top shelf. Dylan, show us one more time. Collision there. A little bit slow to get up as Hoover, but he's there.
Wow, that's the Hatties.
And there it is, and the silly at the end for number 3. So Oregon wins 5-2. Like you said, you used the phrase "a complete game" from Oregon tonight, and I think they can be a lot happier with that performance than last night. Not to criticize last night, they won last night. A win's a win, especially a season opener. But 5-2, solid performance against the Cougars. On to the Huskies.
Feels good to be 2-0, and the team knows that. They're starting to really buy in, I think, to Coach Leahy's system, because this time, instead of it being, periodically in and out as far as effort goes, like I said earlier, it was a complete game. The effort never changed, in my opinion. Even when the Huskies put up those 2 goals in the second, they still were putting so much pressure on them, tons of shots, tons of rebounds, and they capitalized on them. Trevor Schott, huge game. Can't say enough about the goaltending tonight for the Ducks. I think Jackson Howery had a great game. He got beat on his glove a couple times, and what did he do in the third? He fixed that problem. His glove looked excellent. Okay, he's fixed his issues. I think someone told him, hey, your blocker is a little slow. He fixed that. His blocker's looking good. The glove was slow. Then it turned into pretty fast in the third. The Ducks are improving quickly. This is a good team moving forward. You mentioned yesterday the guys need to step up. All the returning guys, Trevor Schott, they stepped up today. And moving forward, going into the I-5 Cup, that's a positive sign. Coach Leahy couldn't be more happy, I'm sure. Ducks are looking good, and you know what? The Cougars are looking good too. They have nothing to hang their heads about. They've been blown out by the Ducks in years past. Both of these games were pretty close.
Yeah, they were, and good confidence-building wins for Oregon. I think a lot for Washington State to build on as well. Maybe we'll see the Cougars make an appearance at the Pac-8 tournament this year. Be the first time we've seen them out there in a while at that tournament out in South Lake Tahoe. But a solid 2 wins for the Ducks, and a much steeper test next week, if for no other reason than going on the road. But I think a lot of times you really start to develop that team bond, that team identity when you hit the Vans and you throw each other in a confined space for 6 hours on the drive up to Seattle. So that's going to do it for us. Tonight's MVP goes to Trevor Schott with the hat trick. That's the difference. 5-2, the final score. For Colin Catman, I'm Isaac Rosenthal. A huge thank you, as always, to our camerawoman, Bella Manning, and our producer, Dylan Lee. For everyone with Duck Hockey, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. A little bit slow to get up as Hoover, but he's there.